I'm not good at this, but let's just get this show started. Hi, I'm Lourdes.
And I'm
Why
Eric.
do you always talk over the music?
Tello. This show is a family-oriented show.
Did you tell me
What?
to?
The music is. I can't.
We talk about adult situations, and very often we use adult language.
See, people are missing important stuff because you kept talking over it.
They don't belong here right now. Unless they want to learn something about life.
People belong here.
What? Yeah, people do. Kids maybe not
And
so
I'd like
much.
to add, I don't want to make anybody mad, and I love my family. Never. Never.
We love our family and friends, but sometimes, oof.
There's a couple I know out there that.
What's that? I can't hear you over the music. What?
Nothing. Just
Okay.
forget I even said anything.
All right. Keep getting. We have to make new intro music. We have to make new music in general because it keeps getting flagged on YouTube. Even though I paid for this song a long time ago, I just don't have the proof anymore.
Really?
Yeah, it's no big deal. I don't want to get too much into it. That's why, I've been cutting it off earlier at the end. Anyway,
And talking over it.
Yeah.
Trying to blame it on me.
That's just your bad habits.
Yeah. You know what? I am bad habit. That's why I'm wearing my La Toxica shirt today.
Yeah, wow. What does la
see
toxica
that?
mean? The toxic?
Yeah, the toxic one.
The toxic what? Biznatch? What'd you say?
Yeah. I said B.
Oh, like a bzz.
No, I'm really not. Yeah. Like a little bumblebee.
Yeah, a little bumblebee that won't leave you alone. You're like, get off me, bitch.
Probably.
You ever been
That
stung
sounds
by a
like
bee?
something. Nope. I don't think
A
I
wasp?
have. I would remember. Nope.
You lucky. I think I was. I
No.
don't remember if I was stung by a bee, but definitely a wasp. It hurt. It swelled
Yeah.
up. And real quick, because we didn't plan on talking about this.
I have a story too.
Oh, do you? Oh no, this show is going to be 2 hours. Somebody said like if you put tobacco on it, it'll take the like the sting out of not the stinger, but the pain out of it.
Yeah.
So, we don't have
Why
like just
not?
tobacco lying around. So somebody had a cigarette, and I remember my mom was like tearing the cigarette open, and cigarette's small and rolled up, so it doesn't tear very easily. So she was like biting it off and tearing it off and like getting the
Eating the tobacco.
spit-soaked tobacco and putting it on the sting. And every time she would press on it, it would hurt even more. And I was like, I don't even know, like this doesn't feel like it's doing what y'all said it's supposed to do. In
You
fact,
make it feel like
you're,
it is.
You're making it hurt more by pressing. And I was just standing, just crying. And
Stop
it's
crying or
all
I'm going to give you a
because-
reason to cry.
Oh, yeah, really. Oh, that line. Oh, man, the tables are turning, though. She's getting to that point where I'll be able to say that.
That is horrible.
It is. Be like, remember this, Mom? Where did I learn this? You, okay? I learned it from watching you. No, but the reason I got stung by a wasp is because earlier in that day, our Aunt Marcella had come over and saw a wasp nest near our front door. And she said, give me a broom, I'll knock it down. So she knocked it down and stepped on it. Which, I mean, hey, you don't want a wasp nest near your door.
Yeah.
And then we went to the store and came back. And when we came back, the owner of that wasp nest, I guess a mother wasp, was like, my kids, you killed my... And like she looked at me and was like, you murderer. And I was like, it wasn't me. And then she came at me and whoop-bam, right in the arm. That's the end of the story. Oh, except for the other part with the cigarette and the chewing on the tobacco and putting the spit-soaked tobacco on my arm.
So was the pain immediate or was
Yes.
it?
Oh, yes. I felt that sucker go.
Don't
and-
they get stuck?
Yeah.
Or they just like stab you and then they fly off?
Well, they stab you, and I guess, and I don't fact check me, bro. I'm not 100% positive. I'm not an entomologist, which I think is a bug scientist. I think when they sting you, there's like some sort of like maybe not venom, but some sort of chemical that they put in there that causes the pain.
Damn.
Because the stinger is really small. I don't think it's the stinger itself that causes the pain. I think it's whatever
It's that juice.
Yeah, that wasp juice.
Ugh. Well, we went to Mexico years ago and we went to visit.
Oh, que chingao.
I know, right? It was pretty cool.
Oh, no mames,
We went to-
güey.
We went to visit one of Luis's aunts, homie's aunts, and they live like smack down in the middle of the mountains, and so they set us under this tree for shade, and
A
And
shade
all
tree.
you could, yeah, all you could hear were the sounds of the buzzings of the wasps. You know what? I don't know if they were wasps. I think they were bees.
They were some kind of stinging insect. Though.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go
And
with
we
that.
sat underneath it. And I was like, and you could just see, I'm like, oh, no te hace nada. They won't do nothing to you. Just sit down. They don't bother you.
Yeah, if you don't bother them, they don't bother you, right?
I'm like, haven't y'all seen My Girl?
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin. Oh, spoiler alert! Macaulay Culkin gets stung by a bee and dies.
Not a bee, a swarm of bees.
Not A B. Did he get stung by A B C, D E F? Come on, cuz.
All the
finish
way
the
through
alphabet.
Z.
He got stung by A B C. Skip a few. X Y Z.
Such a sad movie.
I haven't seen the movie in years. It was a
Yeah,
sad
pretty
movie.
Yeah. Speaking of movies,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we are speaking of movies.
Someone's pretty damn famous.
Who is it? Brad Pitt?
Close.
It looks almost like him with a beard, right? I know what you're about to talk about, and well, I know because I told you, hey, you need to watch this while it's available because you get
Yeah.
to see somebody you know.
Yes.
You get to see their fat face with their graying beard and their.
Twice. You
Oh.
popped in there twice.
No, I didn't know that. I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So tell everybody what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Bloodfest. and
Except for the
it's-
name of the movie because I'm embarrassed because now people might see it. I'm just kidding. It's too late. Go ahead.
Oh, really?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's cool.
Bloodfest. It's to me, and I'm not, you know me, I'm not much of a movie.
met you, yeah.
I'm not experienced in movies.
You're
I
not-
have a hard time.
You're not a pop culture fanatic like me or any regular person in the world.
Yeah, I don't know names. I know Brad Pitt because he was married to Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston.
I thought you were going to say
And
you
they
know
were-
Brad Pitt because he's super handsome.
Bradifer, and then, I don't remember his other name. Anyway,
It was Benifer,
Benifer.
not Bradifer. Well, hey, that's good. It's good that you don't keep up with pop culture in that way.
See, it's awful. I shouldn't even try. I wasn't even trying, and look how that came out.
Wait, no.
Gosh.
No,
I
not
ruined it.
Benifer was Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah. Was it
Brangelina. That's what it was.
See, I can't even.
Bradford.
Anyway,
But you said Bradford.
so when you mentioned that it's a horror film,
It's a horror comedy.
yeah, horror comedy. I told because that's dinner time movie. We have to pick out movies, and it's the hardest thing at our dinner table. It's like, get on a movie now.
It's like, look, if
Something
we
that
don't
we're
pick
all
a
gonna-
movie now, we're going to be forced to talk to each other. And we know how horrible that is. So somebody pick a movie now or we're not eating.
Oh, it's so funny. The pressure's on when someone has to pick out a movie. It's like, don't grab the control. So, Isabel got, she pulled it up, and I'm like, they're like, well, what is it about? I said, it's a horror comedy. I said, I think it's more of a comedy. And so they're like, okay, so let's get it started. So right before dinner was ready, I told them, go ahead and put it on so we can kind of get through, maybe the boring stuff. And they were like, I was like, it brought up childhood memories for Luis, my son,
Why?
because he says that, I said, don't you remember we used to watch movies, when you were little? Like, I think we did,
Knowing you, probably not, since you don't.
That's what he said. He's like, I didn't have any childhood movie time like that.
You just brought up his lonely childhood, which is weird because the movie starts with a boy and his mother watching a horror movie together.
Yes. So he's like, I can't watch this. This. Da, 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 da. I'm like, just
He's like, I can't
watch it.
relate to this. That mother has a relationship with her son. How could I possibly relate to this?
And so then it starts, the movie's going, and I'm like, this isn't a comedy.
You didn't think it was funny?
No.
Well, it starts tragic. The beginning is quite tragic. It's very sad. But hey, you know what? It goes through a gamut of emotions. That's
Yeah, it does. It was,
and I'm not
think
defending
we-
this movie because the person. Well, we'll get to it, but I actually enjoyed them on its own. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was
Yeah.
really fun
Yeah.
and enjoyable.
It plays with the rules of horror movies, and it's just like a love letter to horror movies, which is right up my alley because
Yeah, and
I
then
love
you
horror
think,
movies.
well, like in Luis's case, disobeying your parents, he disobeyed his father. Don't do this because bad things will happen.
And you said you didn't finish the movie?
We probably
Okay.
made it through.
Are you going to finish the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the horror part of it was a little gory to watch while we were eating dinner.
Well, anyway, get to the part.
So
The reason why we're talking about this.
yeah, the whole reason is Tello, you're freaking famous. You're like in the command center. Isn't that kind of what it was? Like
It was like a game testing center. Part of the plot of the movie is people are playing what they think are just regular video games, but they're actually controlling real life characters that are killing people and other things.
yeah.
And I was one of the quote unquote gamers in that scene. I don't have any lines. I'm not famous. It was exciting because the first time I saw this movie was in an actual movie theater. So I saw my head like 30 feet high and I was like, oh my God, that's life size.
You stood out. It was so funny.
Well, I
They
stood
were
out
like,
because you know me.
I know. And then I'm like, and look, I think because the person sitting next to you is your roommate, right?
She is.
And I was like, that's his roommate. That's his roommate too. The kids, Luis, homie wasn't inside. He was.
He didn't get to
it
see
took
me
him-
on TV.
I don't know. You know what he did? He wasn't inside when we started it, so he missed the beginning. But he did. He was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "That's Eric."
So what y'all think?
It was cool. It was really cool. They were just kind of like in shock, like, oh my gosh. Because the movie itself has, I think we said 5.5 stars. That's what Isabel looked up.
Out of 10
Is it
on, well, I mean, it depends on
Amazon?
IMDb. I think it has like, look, I enjoyed it, not just because I had a small part in it.
Yeah.
I only shot for one day. It was a lot of fun. I love horror movies, so I got this opportunity a long time ago. I don't even remember what year it was, maybe 2018. It's been like 3 or 4 years, 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
An email came across my email like, hey, we're shooting this for one day. If you can come out. And me and a group of friends were like, hey, look, we're free. Let's go check it out. And I was hesitant at first, but I was like, it's a horror movie. I've never been on the set of a real movie, and I thought it was more of an like, it felt more like in reading the email, it seemed like a more independent production, but it's a real movie. It didn't get a big distribution like I would have liked for it to, but
yeah.
being on the set that day, it was really hot. We were in like this old abandoned, I don't know if it was a military, like an old, maybe like an old school or an old medical
Factory
facility. It wasn't a
okay.
factory, but I just remember, we showed up, they sent us to this waiting room. They were looking at the clothes we were wearing. Some people, they gave them clothes to wear. They had asked for like people to wear beanies. So I wore my beanie that day, and then they were like, nah, go ahead and take yours off. Like, fuck you, man. I like my beanie. But it was really cool. The director, Owen Egerton, was like really like enthusiastic. He had a lot of energy. So like I learned some things from being there, some things on how to work on a set with other people. And I remember we go into the room where they're going to be filming, and there's a bunch of computers, a bunch of monitors and keyboards. Nothing is hooked up. So everything you see on screen is all VFX because there was no power running to those screens. I don't think they even had computer towers.
Oh, wow.
Some of them even had like cut cables. Like it was just a prop there.
Yeah.
So I sat somewhere off to the side, and some other people were excited. They wanted to be on camera, so they sat like right near the front.
In
and
the
that
front.
one guy who was talking, like he was supposed to be there because he was the main guy who was doing all the talking. And the director comes in and he's like, there's too many similar faces. So one of my friends who had run to the front to sit there, he made him move, and then he called me over. So, oh shit. And it was right next to my roommate. So I was like, oh, cool. Like I feel a little bit more comfortable. And, he talked through the direction and what he wanted us to do. And, me, like I'm trying to stay cool, but I'm really excited because I'm like, oh man, I wasn't planning on being on camera, but I might actually show up because I'm like 2 or 3 seats away from the main guy. So they start shooting, and they just have the camera going back and forth, like just side to side, because you saw like gliding by.
Yeah.
So he's like trying to get people pumped up, and I'm thinking like hey, I'm a air quotes I'm a director too. Like, what would I like to see in this scene? So there's a bag of chips set up as props. So I pick it up and like I see the camera come by. And I was like, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I want to give a little extra. So I just pour some in my mouth. And I think the first time it came by, they missed it, but he got really excited about that. So they sent the camera back and forth. And when it was coming back around again, he was like, "Okay, do that thing with the Doritos again." And I'm like, it was a bag of Fritos, so I'm like, Doritos. Yeah. I don't know. He's not talking to me because I have Fritos. So I'm just like pretending to play, and then my roommate kind of gives me the elbow. She's like, "He's talking to you." She doesn't say that, but she gives me the elbow, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's me." So I pick it up again, and I pour a few. And when I sat there, like the bag was already open, so I was like, I don't know how long this bag has been sitting here, and a couple of them fall in my mouth. I'm like, okay, stay in character.
You're such a germaphobe too.
I know.
His hands ready.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
Oh my God.
So, I start chewing them like, oh, well, I'm not going to like spit it out. And he really liked it. So that part got into the movie. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I did a little something.
That was funny. Cause I was going to ask you, I was like, damn, look, was that part of it?
That was my improv. No, we had no lines. He just was like, at first he had us actually, hitting on the keyboards and moving the mouse around. And then they realized I was shaking the table too much and creating too much noise. So he was like, just pretend. So, we had to get close to the keyboard, but not actually touch it. And it was fun. It was a fun experience. And
that's cool.
The director was super, super cool. I really enjoyed that. And that was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. Maybe, was it that long? Maybe between 3 and 5 hours of shooting for that small little section.
Damn.
Yeah,
could you imagine,
making a movie is a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, every scene is
Yeah, you got to set up the camera. Yeah. You got to set up lights. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They had like a strand of not a strand, but like a strip of lights on the table that was glowing up on us to make it look like the computer screens were on. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I was just there for that one day for those few hours. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. And that dude was super cool. After that, he went on to direct another horror movie that's on Netflix called Mercy Black. I'm not associated with that at all. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed that movie too. I was like, this guy, good for this guy. Like, I'm going to keep, try and keep up with this guy. And afterwards, we bumped into each other at the parking lot because they had bathrooms set up in a trailer outside, and I had to go pee. So as I was coming out, he was walking to his trailer or one of the other trailers to do some work. And again, he just had like an enthusiastic attitude. He was like, "Hey man, you did really great. I really like that beanie." I was like, "Oh, the one that I had to take off." But I was like, "Hey, thanks, man." And I wanted to ask him to do me a favor, but it was too much. So I didn't say it, but I was going to ask him. I was like, "Hey man, this is what I wanted to say." Didn't say it because I was too nervous and I didn't want to impose because it was fun. I was like, whatever happens. I just had a good time and learned some stuff. I wanted to be like, "Hey, look, man, I don't know what the credits are going to be, but is there any chance?" I'm assuming we're just going to be called gamers and just a list of names. But I wanted to ask, is there any way you could credit me as handsome gamer? Because I did a short film years ago where I played a bartender. And I wanted to be credited as handsome bartender.
Oh my God.
And I think that's been over a decade ago. I was doing that to help a friend out. I think they gave me that credit as handsome bartender. So I wanted to keep as
thing going.
Yeah, as a joke, but I chickened out.
Well, I just was hoping you'd come in to sign autographs.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Are they NumTwoPod podcast fans?
Of course they are.
All right, yeah.
They were pretty psyched out.
I'll be like from your number one primo.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of performing and, in front of people.
Wait, real quick, in case anyone does want to watch it, it's called Bloodfest. It's currently streaming on Amazon Prime. If you go to the 32-minute mark, you can see my big head and my roommate next to me.
It's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie, it's exciting.
Yeah.
That first, had a small release. I'm sorry, I know we were about to move on, but I just want to tie this up real quick.
No.
It had a small release, so hardly anybody saw it. And then it was first released on streaming on Showtime, it was on Showtime, and then Showtime had it on their streaming service as well. So, I didn't know anybody who had that, so it's not like I could say, hey, cuz, you can see me in this movie on Showtime streaming, because you don't have that, and I don't think you're going to pay to get it. But one day at random, one of my friends from when I used to live in Kansas messaged me on Instagram. He was like, hey, man, are you in a movie? And I was like, what? Because for a second I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. And then he sent me a picture of his TV screen. He was like, is this you?
Oh my gosh. We paused the TV.
Oh,
we screw. We're like, there's Eric. Look at him.
That's basically what he said he and his wife did. He's like, we thought it was you, but we weren't sure. And I was like, yeah, man. I told him, I was like, the whole story. I was like, yeah, it was really cool. I said, I can't believe you saw that. He was like, yeah, man.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What was that? There's a part of the movie where there's a girl that gets the main character guy into the fest, and she also plays a part in a movie, and she says that she's the topless table dancer or topless girl number 4 or something. Anyway,
yeah.
that was useless.
I was handsome gamer number 1. No.
Well, we're doing this show in front of a live audience.
Oh, the same live audience that was snoring during our last show?
Yeah.
I haven't finished editing that show, but I've heard them already. And I don't think the show was that boring, but we put them to sleep.
Well, homie just insists on being in here while we do these,
Is he a fan of the
recordings.
show? He's like, look, this way I can hear it live, only one side of the conversation, and I don't have to stream it later.
I said, I got to work in the morning. He's like, okay. I was like, we're recording. He's like, okay. I was like, oh, preparing him.
Last episode or this one?
Today.
Oh.
And so anyway, I come out and he's just like, his eyes are closed and he's still asleep. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the TV. So there's been a couple of snores, but I don't think it's anything that the audio will pick up.
I hope not. That's what we thought last time.
Yeah, but see, when people drink, they tend to snore more, like when they have alcohol in their system. And it's early in the morning, so...
Is there any left over from last night, maybe?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a calm night.
Okay. All right, cool.
So anyway, speaking of drinking and stuff, we had some. We haven't recorded in what, like 3 weeks?
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. So in those weeks, we've had Father's Day.
I recall.
And 4th of July.
Yes, we're recording right now. Today is July 10th. This won't be released for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
This should be released in August.
It's okay.
Maybe we should speed up our pace.
Maybe. It's so weird. My work schedule's kind of weird. My real job. I was actually supposed to work today.
The job that pays you.
Yeah, that I feel like I'm getting ripped off sometimes.
I know that feeling.
Anyway, so did you do anything for? Well, did you do anything for Father's Day?
I sat in the corner and cried. But that's like any other day. No. I don't celebrate Father's Day. I don't have any children.
Yeah.
And I don't have a father.
More
I have a biological
importantly.
father. I don't have a daddy
Yeah.
or a father.
I
I grew up fatherless, okay? Is that what you're trying to, is that what you want me to say?
But you had a caregiver. You had someone
Yeah.
taking care of you. Yeah. You had people taking care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a father.
Yeah, I've met him.
Yeah.
I have memories. I'll share one in a minute. Go ahead and finish your story. I don't want to interrupt.
So I kept thinking
Should we take a break or are we going to go ahead?
It's up to you. Do you think we need it? Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right, let's take a break
yeah.
and then we'll get back with your is this Father's Day story?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, are you enjoying NumTwoPod? Would you like to support us so that we can keep making these great shows for you? Cuz, why don't you tell them where they can go?
Hit us up at campfirepod.com/support us. That's campfyrepod.com/support us. Support us is all one word.
You can support NumTwoPod directly with a monthly donation for as little as 99 cents per month through our Anchor.fm website. Or scroll down a little more and you can click on our merchandise link, and that'll take you directly to our Amazon store where you can buy one of the shirts that we offer. And if you pick up anything else during that visit, we'll make a small commission at no extra charge to you.
That's right. Listen in style, pick up a badass shirt, support us at campfirepod.com/support us. That's campfyrepod.com/support us. So we were talking about Father's Day.
We were.
Yeah.
Till we got interrupted by that message
Yeah.
that no one seems to be listening to.
Support us. No, it's, yeah. Anyway, so we're talking about Father's Day. And I have to say, I find myself, I get a little anxious, and I have to start either talking myself out of things or preparing myself like maybe a week in advance when there's family functions that may involve my dad and my mom.
Is that anxiety?
Yeah. And
Have you talked to anybody about that?
No, just you.
Okay, because that sounds like an unhealthy dose of anxiety that maybe you should seek professional counsel about.
I know we do need, I need that, definitely. And I always encourage listeners and people that I work with or just friends, you need help. I even tell my kids, we need therapy. Y'all need therapy. Don't wait for me.
Yes, agreed.
So Father's Day's coming up, or it passed, but I'm thinking back, it's coming up.
All right, let's take a little trip back in time. Come on, I can't do this by myself. Okay, so now oh my goodness. This is like in black and white. We're a week before July 4th, 2021.
July 4th or Father's Day?
Father's Day. Oh, we got to go farther back. Hang on. oh my God. Now everything's so grainy in black and white. It's like now we're a week before Father's Day.
Father's Day. Yeah. So I'm calling my dad.
Wait, is that a dinosaur? How far back do we go?
Come back.
Okay. All right. I'm caught up.
So I'm like, okay, I don't want to have a gathering at my house with my cousins and my mom and then have my dad show up because it gets a little awkward.
I don't blame you. I don't want to have a gathering like that either.
It gets a little awkward and stressful because it's like I'm at the playground and I'm a teacher and I'm watching to make sure the kids behave. And when I mean kids, I mean my mom and my dad.
Yeah, and it's when they're together it's the sexual tension is so strong you can cut it with a knife, and you're like, look, y'all can't do that here. This is a family gathering.
Something is there. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, you wouldn't want to.
So
there's some sort of tension,
yeah,
sexual or otherwise.
Yeah. So I had already, talked to your brother and my other cousins, and I said, we haven't had any type of gathering since COVID. This will be the first one. We'll stay outside.
And just to preface, a lot of y'all have already been vaccinated.
Yes.
Some of y'all have already had it, so you have antibodies in your blood.
Yes.
So it's a little bit safer to get, and plus you're outside.
Yeah.
So it's not being completely reckless and careless.
Right.
Although the law has already said, like, hey, it's back to normal.
Yeah, pretty much. But I was a little concerned because it was so hot outside that my invite said we will be outside. So, people stay outside. Your mom needed to stay inside, and it was a little bit too hot for her. And but then I felt bad. I was like, if you need to go inside, anybody, if y'all need to go inside, because I'm not going to be responsible for any type of dehydration.
Yeah, I don't want to be responsible for
anybody having a heat stroke.
Yeah, heat stroke or dehydration, but go gather in close quarters, and I'll be responsible for a COVID outbreak.
I said, enter at your own risk. So everybody comes over, and I had called my dad because he'll just show up. And I'm like, no, Daddy, I'm going to have people over. So I said, I'm calling to see if you want to, come over and have breakfast with us Sunday, which was Father's Day. So I did our gathering the day before. And he's like, yeah, Mika, I'll go by. Yeah. So, okay. So the family gathering was pretty good. Everybody was fine. It was good. Everybody enjoyed the visit. It was hot, but we made it through it. So Sunday morning, I'm calling my dad. We went and got some menudo, and I'm like, all right, Daddy, come eat with us. Daddy doesn't answer. I was like, that's weird. So I call him again. I'm like, man, I said, oh, well, I did my part. Homie comes back. He has five containers of menudo, and he's like, hey, your dad? And I'm like, he ain't here yet. No. Okay, that's sorry. Let me back up. My dad does finally call me back before homie gets home. And he's like, hey, I said, Daddy, where you at? And he's like, oh, I'm cutting my grass. I said, well, we got the menudo, are you
What time do you normally eat breakfast?
He's like, well, what time is it going to be? What time is it? And I was like, well, it's, whatever.
It's breakfast time.
10 o'clock.
That's what time it is.
He's like, well, just give me about 10 minutes. I'll be right there. I said,
now,
okay.
Is this a Mexican 10 minutes?
No, he legit got here in 10 minutes. I was like, well, I was like, man, he's cutting his grass. Obviously he forgot to come, when I told, or that I had invited him over.
Or maybe he's being passive aggressive.
Maybe. I don't think so. So he shows up, and he keeps declining. It's like he's getting a video call, and he keeps declining it. And I'm like, Daddy, who is that? I'm not going to talk right now. Da-da-da. So this is it before we even make it into my house, because, well, then his phone rings like a regular phone call coming in. And he's like, hello. And, no estás molestando. Don't be bothering me right now. I came to the store to get gas.
He said, don't molest me. I'm getting gas.
And I'm like, Daddy, who is that?
Who
is his
Daddy,
wife?
Who are you lying to?
It's his wife. I'm like, so he's like, she gets on my nerves. She's always trying to follow me, and she must have been watching me. And I just left, and I told her I was coming to get gas. I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm your daughter. I invited you over to eat menudo for breakfast for Father's Day, and you have to lie to your wife about where you're going. I said, okay, I didn't say that. I was like, well, come in and hurry up and eat so you can get going.
Oh my goodness.
Because, okay, he comes in, he eats, and I can tell he's rushing. And so, homie, we had bought some meat so we could grill and have a nice, relaxing, quiet, immediate family, grilling and whatever. So he tells my dad, hey, I'm going to grill this evening. Why don't you come back?
You shoot him a look.
I shot both of them a look. This is Father's Day right here. The menudo is Father's Day. And my dad said, yeah. I said, is Martha working? That's his wife. And he's like, no, why don't you call her? I said, well, I'll text her and see if if y'all can come back later.
Now, you should have called her and be like, hey, look, I'm here at the gas station with my dad, and we were just talking.
He came to get gas. Because I called my dad around dinner time. The grilling was pretty much done. I'm like, hey, Daddy, are y'all coming? I'm sitting in here. Why don't you give Miss Martha a call? I was like, well, can't you just ask her? Well,
he said, no, I'm at the gas station right now.
I'm in my room. She's in the other room. I said, okay, I'll call her. I said, man, I feel like I'm kissing ass. I mean, I didn't even invite you over.
Yeah, you're like, I'm begging you to come over when I don't want you to come over. No offense. Happy Father's Day.
So I'm like, damn it, homie, this is your fault for inviting my dad. So I call. I'm like, hey, Miss Martha. She's like, oh, hey, how are you? I said, I text you. I didn't get a response. We're grilling. Just want to know if you and my dad want to come join us for dinner. Yeah, let me go talk to your dad. And if he's up for it, we'll head that way. I said, okay.
You're like, oh, don't worry. I got him on the other line. Hang on.
I just talked to him. He told me to call you. So fine. Hang up. Tell me why, because for the remainder of the evening until we were through eating, okay, like when I say through, I mean I was already cleaning up. I kept looking out the window. I kept waiting to see if I could hear car doors or the doorbell. Every time a car passed, I'm like, is that them? Are they here? I was like, look out the window and see if anybody's at the front door. They never showed up.
That's messed up.
It is messed up. I was like, what the?
Did you call and say, hey, why didn't you come over?
No. Because I was like, I kept saying, I don't really care. I wasn't inviting them. I mean, I was just going along with what homie had said.
And I know that might sound mean to some people, but
no, it's the reality of it. I mean,
we're being honest here.
Yeah. But then like I found myself like caring, and I was like, damn it.
That's why they did it.
I get suckered in all the time. I was like, I'm tired of kissing ass. So I was like, I'm not calling him for the next few days. I didn't.
Did you ever talk about it with him?
I asked him. He didn't call for a few days anyway, so I was like, he knows. So when I did finally talk to him, I was like, man, we thought y'all were coming. I was like, what's up with that? No, well, she came in the room and asked me, and I just don't want her. I was already tired. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that? Like, why would you make me call her? He didn't make me, but
just tell this to him. Like, look, Dad. Do you call him Dad? What do you call him?
Daddy, Father.
Faja. Padre. Escúchame. I sound Italian almost. Padre. Listen to me. I'm still doing the Italian. Hang on. Daddy. If you don't want to come, that's fine. I don't really want you to come either. So if you don't want to do something, just tell me no. It won't offend me. In fact, it might make me happier. And isn't that what you really want?
That's what he says. He's like, oh, mija, you don't have to invite me to things. I
didn't. My husband did. And then he's going to get a serious talking to after this.
That's what I look at. I'm like, no, keep him all shut. So I'm like, you know what? People want to know why we have attachment issues.
Oh, you can get deeper into that at another time.
I will. But just so y'all know, attachment issues are also more known as daddy issues.
Well,
And it's
I don't
really
have
not
a daddy,
just
so
dad.
I'm immune to that shit.
Well, it's really
Right?
not. It's really not. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. But yeah, it's anybody. Yeah, just issues.
I believe it.
So when 4th of July came around, I was like, I'm not. And don't you dare think about inviting my dad. It was pretty cool. Did you do anything for 4th of July?
I did, yeah. My roommates invited some of their family, and we smoked a bunch of meat. And I had
I thought you were going to say we smoked a bunch of weed.
I wish if there was something to be smoked, I would have been in that circle. And I just bought like a big 8-pound pork loin, so my roommate smoked that with the rest of the meat. So for about 4 days, I ate smoked pork with whatever else I could pair with it. And oh my goodness, I'm over it. I'm done.
But it was good.
Yeah, like especially that first day, because he made that. He made smoked brisket, ribs. My roommate's mom made twice baked potatoes, which was like mashed. I've never had, I don't think I've ever had it before. It's basically mashed potatoes with cheese, and I don't know.
It's like
was
a baked
good.
potato, but it's like mashed potatoes.
It wasn't in the potato skin like you normally get a baked potato. I think that's what it was. I think it was twice, but I don't remember what it was. Something white people make. And it was good. I got 2 servings of that. And then they had for dessert, they made trifles. Are you familiar with this?
What is it? It sounds familiar.
Something else that white people make. It's like
trifles?
a layered dessert. It's served in a glass dish, and it's like layers of stuff. Like one of them was, I think it was like chocolate pudding with cream
trifle
layered.
dessert. Is it almost like Gloria's 7-layer dip? That's what it is. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
I didn't ask for
Look, there's a
recipe.
picture of it.
Don't do that. Last time you ruined your. Now you're gonna be too dark.
Am I?
Why can't you just send me a picture? We have you can just message it to me.
It changes
it look like it changes the exposure in your camera. Anyway, for anyone who's not watching this, it doesn't matter. They had a chocolate trifle and some sort of like apple spice trifle. And I have to say, I'm very proud of myself. I didn't overeat as much as I wanted to because I've been trying to eat better. And I had a few cheat days in a row. Started Thursday evening, ended 4th of July night, evening, whatever. But look how dark you look now.
I know. I feel so bad. How do I fix that?
I don't know. Turn the lights off for a couple minutes. I know how you can prevent it. Don't put your fucking phone up to the fucking camera.
You didn't tell me that.
I told you last time you did that.
I would have remembered.
I think you forgot. I think that's the nature of forgetting. Because you just discovered what forgetting means.
I won't
It's when
forget.
you don't remember.
I won't forget this time.
Okay, where was it? Okay, so I didn't overeat. I wanted to. Like those thoughts crept into my mind because he put the meats on like around 11 or 12 o'clock. Mm-hmm. He was like, dinner should be ready at 5. I was like, oh shit, 5? It's almost lunchtime. So I went and grabbed a burger at around 2. And then again, since it was like a cheat day, I was like, all right, well, I haven't had my frozen custard in a long time. I'll grab one for me and Steve, and he likes the same kind that I get. And I was like, he's he's watching the meats outside in the steamer. He's probably hot. So I got him a medium, and I got a small for myself. Because I'm trying to take it. Yeah, right. A small cup of sugar.
I'll take 1 small cup of sugar and a medium.
So I went back home, and he was outside checking. He was actually pulling some of the meats out and putting them in a cooler so they could rest. And I was like, "Hey, man, do you want to cool off now, or you want me to put this up for later?" He was like, "Oh, hell no, I'll take it now." I was like, "Oh, good." So I was like, "He's going to eat his. I don't have to feel bad about eating mine right now in front of," because I didn't bring one for everyone. I brought those for us.
Yeah.
But I also bought like a little case of 1/2 pint assorted frozen custards because there were a couple of kids there, my roommate's sister and her husband. So I was like, You know, I brought something for anyone who wanted some.
Well, the kids
Turns
might be
out-
like, I want what he has, Mommy. I want that.
I'm like, shut the. Hey, look, they enjoyed it. They'd come to visit prior. I got one prior. They enjoyed it then. I was like, hey, I thought this was such a hit last time. Maybe, you know, they didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I gave it to my roommate's sister because it was her kids. And she was, oh, yeah, definitely. And then she turns to her husband. She's like, are you ready for your death? I was like, what? She said, yeah, he's lactose intolerant. I was like, oh. So the mom was sharing her frozen custard with the kids, and her husband was telling me about how bad it is when he eats. And I was like, oh. I was like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't have any idea. He's like, no, that's cool. I was like, I think I might be lactose intolerant too. And because
I'm willing to deal with the consequences.
Sometimes it gives me really bad gas. Sometimes there's abdominal pain, and sometimes it gives me diarrhea.
My gosh, we had Taco Thursday. Ugh.
What's that have to do with lactose intolerance? The cheese?
The cheese.
Yeah.
Something in it. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, that was it. He was like, no, when I eat, he's like, I can eat. I asked him, I was like, can you eat cheese? He's like, yeah, I can eat cheese, but when I drink milk or eat ice cream, I get really bad abdominal cramps. I'm like, ooh, I'm sorry, man. I'm just scooping that ice cream, that frozen custard. I was like, damn, that's terrible. I was like, I think I'm lactose intolerant too.
Clean it off your
and
beard.
he's looking at me eating.
Damn.
But yeah, it was a pretty good time. We ate. I wanted to eat more, but I didn't. We played a couple of board games, and I got bored of the board games. I'm not a board game player. Like when people say board games, I'm thinking in my head BORED games. So I played a couple of times, and then my roommate's dad wanted to play another round. I was like, no, I'm good. And then my roommate called me out. She was like, have you reached your social point now? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And then like 2 minutes later, I went upstairs and stayed the rest of the night up here in my room.
Oh my gosh. I'm not much of a social person either.
You know, we hung out for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's a long time for me.
Yeah.
They put on a movie I didn't like. I had to put up with that. They put on some musical. And
Was it for the
vocally
kids?
said, no, it was because my roommate wanted to watch it again. we were talking about what to put on, and I suggested Raiders of the Lost Ark, a great American classic.
To watch on the 4th of July.
Yeah. And her sister said, yeah, what's more American than killing Nazis? I was like, well, it used to be American. And they just ignored me and put on some musical. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said a couple of times, I was like, I don't like this.
Was it like the Nutcracker
It's a new movie.
or something?
No, In the Heights or The Heights or something like that. It's a new movie. It was on
HBO?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think I don't know.
You know, it's fine. If you like musicals, I'm sure it's a good movie. I don't like musicals.
I mean, the only musicals I like is like Grease.
Yeah, I enjoyed Grease.
Footloose.
Yeah. And there's one more I can put up with, and that's Moulin Rouge.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one before. I think it's a classic.
It's visually beautiful. Like it's a very visionary musical.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm like when they started singing, I'm like, okay. So that was my 4th of July.
Yeah. Ours was pretty, ours was good. We weren't going to do anything. Like nothing.
Your husband invited your dad. Y'all waited all day.
No.
He never showed up. Oh,
we were actually, I think, kind of mad. I don't know why. Probably because I'm like the toxic one.
La tóxica?
Yeah. And Julie, our cousin, stopped by to take care of some business with Pila, and we just got to talking, and one thing led to another, and we kind of decided that we were just going to grill. And she's like, Julie's like, well, look, we already bought everything. She's like, so y'all really don't have to do anything except, just light the pit. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, let me just go home and get my groceries.
So who did the grilling?
Luis and Augustine.
Okay.
Yeah. So Luis has like this, homie has this huge, it's not even like it's like a fire pit with the grill over
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Yeah. So it's huge, and it's just on. He puts leña, but firewood in there, and he just everything cooks pretty much at one time. And so, let's see, that was started about 4:00, and Julie and the family left around midnight. So we say 4.
So were y'all off on that following Monday?
Yes. So that was you had 5 hours. We had an 8-hour 4th of July.
You had a full work day.
Yeah.
You put in a full work day with the family, or with some family.
Yeah, it was fun.
I put in a half work day with someone else's family. No, they're nice people. I enjoy them. It's 5 hours. Man.
I know you don't even spend that much time with family when you come into town. When I find myself, like, if I'm experiencing something, like, I try to read on it, like, why is this happening, or why do I feel this way, or why is this person acting this way, and like the whole daddy Father's Day thing, and I was like, damn, I need a psychologist, I need therapy.
Yeah, I agree.
So I said, you know what, we need to.
You need therapy.
I'm going to work on some stuff. So we're going to make a show about dads, not just dads. Because I'm sure there are great dads out there.
I'd like to meet them.
I'd like to know what it feels like to have one. No.
Me too. Wouldn't that be some shit if my father was like a good dad to his other kids, whoever they are?
Yeah, it'd be weird to.
Yeah, I wonder. Let's see. How do I feel about that? Do I want him to be a good dad to them? Yeah, I want him to be a good dad to them. But that'd be like, hey,
so
what about your practice kid over here?
Yeah. So you say that, but my dad has, like, I think a total of like 10 kids with maybe about 3 or 4 different women.
Damn, starting a franchise.
Yeah. And he, for the longest, the story in my mind of his first wife was that, he had 2 kids and he just left and no relationship with them at all. Well, 40 plus years later, the oldest son reaches out to him and calls him. And my dad, is telling me, he's like, I was in shock. Like, he said, I felt bad, like, all this time. He's like, I didn't have anything to do with him. I felt like I needed to leave him alone with his mom and their new life. And he's like, so we get to talking, and they both are finding out that they could have had a relationship, from the beginning. And I'm like, because there's rumors that this older son hated our dad, and that, the day he ever came to being, face to face with him, he would, like, kill him or something because he just hated him that much. And now I'm like, that was all lies. That's not true. I mean, I've even talked to him. That's like, I don't know, say.
Oh, yeah, because he's your half brother?
That's weird to say that.
You have a 40-something-year-old half brother?
Yes. 2 of them. It's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, and my dad will say, he's like, I wasn't there. I feel like I need to help him and, whatever. And this brother, my dad's son, other son, he's supposed to, like, come visit.
When?
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking maybe within the month.
Oh, well, keep us posted.
Yeah, it's going to be so weird. I told my dad, well, where's he going to stay?
What'd he say?
He was like, I said, where's he going to stay? I said, and I answered my own question to him. I was like, probably at your house, right?
Like, in case you were thinking otherwise.
Yeah. And so
If I was the son, I'd be like, put me up in a hotel. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Just,
yeah.
I'm not sleeping on a couch or the floor.
Oh, no. Knowing my dad, he'd probably like fix up a room and buy a new bed and make it look like, I don't know what. Anyway. Again, attachment issues.
We'll talk more about that some other time. It's about that time to start wrapping up, cuz. Anything else? Any last words?
Don't hold it in. Get out whatever you're feeling. Whether you do it through exercise, whether you drink down your
No,
don't drink. Talk
drink
to somebody.
water. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated during this heat. Get help. Get therapy. See a psychologist.
Yes, you should take your own advice, cuz.
I know. I think that's what our show is.
What? Us trying to convince each other to go get help?
Yeah, that we need help. This is our help.
Hey, yeah.
I love mi familia.
Yeah, I do. I love our family.
As I'm sporting La Toxica shirt. Today's going to be a toxic day.
It feels like it. All right. I guess that's it.
That's it. Peace out.
Peace out. Adios. If you enjoyed watching this episode of Number 2 Podcast and would like to see more, tell them what they can do, cuz.
You can simply click the subscribe button, give us a like, click on the bell notification, and you'll be notified of all the episodes as they become available.
Yes, the bell notification.